Welcome to the online classes on MWT. Now today what we do is we try to solve some of the problems from unit number 1 and 2. Usually in the examination most of the problems are coming from unit number 2. So we'll concentrate some of the problems on unit number 2. Okay. So before we go on to the unit number 3, let us solve some problems on the waveguides. Okay. So after this we'll move on to unit number 3 and we'll just discuss about the microwave circuits. After we discuss about microwave circuits, we come back once again to unit number 2 to discuss about the resonators, cavity resonators. So cavity resonator is also going to be one of the microwave circuit, normally use it to generate the oscillations. So therefore what we do is after this particular class, today's class, next class we will go with the third unit where we discuss about the microwave circuits. Then we come back, after we discuss about microwave circuits, we come back to the cavity resonators, which is part of the microwave circuit. Okay. So let us start going with the problems now. Okay. So please take down the problem. Okay, write down the problem when I am going to explain it to you. Right. So after you write down the problems, let us solve. I will solve the problem on the board. Now write down now. Determine the cutoff wavelength. Determine the cutoff wavelength for the dominant mode in a rectangular waveguide. Determine the cutoff wavelength. Determine the cutoff wavelength for the dominant mode in a rectangular waveguide. In a rectangular waveguide of breadth 10 centimeters. Of breadth 10 centimeters. I will repeat. Determine the cutoff wavelength for the dominant mode in a rectangular waveguide of breadth 10 centimeters. Full stop. For the 2.5 gigahertz signal propagated in this waveguide, for a 2.5 gigahertz signal propagated in this waveguide in the given dominant mode, for a 2.5 gigahertz signal propagated in this waveguide in the given dominant mode, calculate the guide wavelength, phase velocity and the group velocity. Okay. So now what is the data given now? Determine the, what is the first thing now? First of all, write down the given data, then figure out the equations or formulas which are there with us and substitute in that particular formulas. So here I gave you all the formulas that we normally going to use to solve the problems on the waveguides. Okay. So some of the problems, all these derivations we have taken from the transmission lines of the EMTL subject. So we discussed about the EMTL subject. In that particular subject we are going to have these derivations for all these equations. Now right now nobody will ask us about the derivations of these particular formulas because these formulas have been taken from the transmission lines theory. Okay, we discussed about this already. So therefore try to remember these formulas in order to attack the problems. Right. Now first formula is going to have a relationship between the guide wavelength. Now here we have lambda g, lambda naught, lambda c. How we read this lambda g as lambda suffix g. This G stands for guide, C stands for cutoff, O stands for the free space. So therefore this is the relationship between the wavelengths of guide, rectangular waveguide, cutoff frequency and the free space, right. So therefore 1 by lambda g square is equal to 1 by lambda naught square minus 1 by lambda c square. This is very important equation to remember, which gives us the relationship between the guide wavelength, cutoff wavelength and the free space wavelength. Now if you rearrange this equation, we normally going to get lambda g is equal to lambda naught by 1 minus lambda naught by lambda c whole square under root. So this is the equation which we get. Once you rearrange this particular equation, we normally going to get this particular equation in terms of lambda g. So now what is that question that has been asked now? Determine the guide, determine the cutoff wavelength for a dominant mode. Determine the cutoff wavelength. That means what has been asked to us? Determine the cutoff wavelength for the dominant mode. So what is given is dominant mode he has given. Dominant mode. What do you mean by dominant mode? TE10 is nothing but the dominant mode. That is what given to us. Okay, so dominant mode means what? M is equal to 1, N is equal to 0, which has been given to us. Now other formulas which are required, we have to find out the group velocity, phase velocity. If at all in the question He asked about to find out the cutoff frequency. This is the formula to find out the cutoff frequency. And sometimes in the formula is going to ask us to find out the characteristic impedance, and this is the formula. So that means if you know this formula, rest of the formulas are going to be very easy for us. Now next formula is going to be for the phase velocity. Phase velocity of a wave in the waveguide is equal to lambda g by unit time period. What is 1 by t? 1 by t is nothing but the frequency. Therefore, I can write this as lambda g into f. Now this, what I will do is, I multiply and divide by 2 pi. Then I will get 2 pi f. This lambda g I will take in the denominator. Therefore, I will be getting this as 2 pi by lambda g. So this 2 pi by lambda g is nothing but is equal to beta for us, which is the phase constant. Next, that is the equation I got now. So one of the formula which we can have is Vp is equal to omega by beta. And another formula which you are going to have is Vp is equal to c by, c is the velocity of light, c by under root of this factor. Whatever we have the factor in the denominator of lambda g, same factor, we use it in the calculation of the phase velocity. So that means it is simply going to be c by this formula. What is Vg? Vg is group velocity. G stands for group, P stands for phase. So this is group velocity, this is going to be the phase velocity. So therefore group velocity is equal to c into the same factor, under root of 1 minus lambda naught by lambda c whole square. That means now Vp and Vg are something like, you know, inversely proportional. When you multiply these two, what are you going to get? These two will get cancelled. This under root component will get cancelled. We get c into c is equal to c square. So this is the formula we normally going to get when you multiply the phase velocity into the group velocity. Then next we are going to have a equation for the cutoff frequency. This is nothing but the cutoff frequency. Cutoff frequency. Cutoff frequency of a wave in a waveguide. So we discussed in the previous class that waveguide is going to act like a high pass filter. So whenever a waveguide is going to act like a high pass filter, we should find out its cutoff frequency, right? Below which no frequency component is normally going to get transmitted through the waveguide. That means to transmit any frequency component to the waveguide, the minimum frequency should be equal to the cutoff frequency, which we normally going to get by this particular formula, which is equal to c by 2 into m by a whole square plus n by b whole square. Okay, so this is the formula for cutoff frequency. Similarly, we can get the cutoff wavelength. So what is the formula for cutoff wavelength? We will be getting c by fc. C by fc is nothing but equal to c by fc is equal to, we can have now what? This under root is there, this is going to be under root. Okay, so now lambda c is equal to c by f is equal to, this is the formula. So by solving this particular equation, finally we will be getting an equation 2ab by under root of m square b square plus n square a square. So this is the formula which we normally going to get, right? This formula is derived, lambda is derived from this particular fc, and in the previous class we have derived this from the propagation constant, h square is equal to a square base b square, using that particular form. How we have derived this particular thing now? A square plus b square is equal to h square, right? So while we are deriving the equation for wave propagating through a rectangular waveguide, so we got this relationship, right? So this is nothing but, I can equate it to gamma square. We got gamma, and by substituting all the values, we have got this fc value. So we substitute the fc value to get this, and finally you are going to have the equation for characteristic impedance. ZTM is known as characteristic impedance equation, which is equal to eta times 1 minus, once again the same factor. That means whatever you have in the denominator part of lambda g, same thing we will be getting in many of the formulas. Same thing we are going to get in Vp, same thing we are going to get in Vg, right? Same thing you are going to get in the characteristic impedance basic equation. So like this we will be getting these things are going to come repeatedly. So if you really know these formulas, practice these formulas, we can do well in the exam whenever a question is asked in this particular formulas. Now let us concentrate on the problem now. After we normally go through these formulas, please note down these formulas and try to remember these formulas for solving the problems. Okay, so whenever problem is there means it is better you know the formula. If you could able to remember the formula, it is always really going to be good for us. Okay. Now let us start working with the problem now. Determine the cutoff wavelength. Cutoff wavelength means lambda c for a dominant mode in a rectangular waveguide of breadth 10 centimeters. Now what is given to us? What is given to us is a rectangular waveguide. What do you mean by rectangular waveguide? This is a rectangular waveguide. Here breadth is nothing but equal to A. Okay, this is a rectangular waveguide. What is the height of this waveguide? The height of this waveguide is nothing but equal to B. Right? So height is nothing but B, A is nothing but breadth of the waveguide. Now what is given here is A is given to us. A is given as equal to 10 centimeters to us. What else given to us? For a 2.5 gigahertz signal propagating in this waveguide in the dominant mode. A 2.5 gigahertz signal is propagating. That means the signal frequency is nothing but the fundamental signal frequency is equal to 2.5 gigahertz signal is propagating through the waveguide in the dominant mode. Waveguide in the dominant mode. Okay. So this is the data given to us. And next, calculate guide wavelength, group velocity and phase velocity. He is asking us to find out the guide wavelength, phase velocity and group velocity Vg. So these parameters you have to simply find out. Now how do we find out these parameters now? Just using the formulas. Okay. Right. Now what is given to us actually here? What is lambda c? Lambda c in a dominant mode. Already we have got equation for lambda c. See, this is the equation for lambda c. Lambda c is equal to 2ab by under root of m square b square plus n square a square. This is the formula we have. In this formula we substitute the dominant mode parameters to get the equation. Now what is that we substitute? M value is equal to, this is m is equal to 1, n is equal to 0. So we substitute n is equal to 0. So after these values, after we figure out what is m, what is n, let us substitute this m and n values in the equation, right? So the equation is lambda c is equal to, this is the equation we have. So we will substitute that equation, 2ab by m square. Now m square, b square, okay, n square I will write it completely now, under root. This is the equation I have. Now n is equal to 0. Whenever I have n, that is nothing but equal to 0, this parameter will simply vanish. So lambda c becomes equal to 2a for me. Here I get m square b square, this m is equal to 1, so I will get b square under root. So root n square will get cancelled, I will get b, this bb will get cancelled. So finally I will be getting 2 into a is equal to lambda a. So what is a given? 2 into a is given equal to 10. So therefore 10 centimeters. So lambda c is equal to 20 centimeters. So this is the equation which we have got for lambda c. So what is that is asking for? Lambda c is asking us. So we got the lambda c value. Next we should get the lambda g value. So how do I get the lambda g value? This is the formula for lambda g. So for this lambda g already I know lambda c value. Only unknown is going to be lambda naught. So to find out lambda naught, how do we find out lambda naught value? How do we find out lambda naught value? Just simply how do you find out lambda naught? That is, we have this formula, lambda is equal to c by f. So same formula I will use it for lambda naught. Lambda naught is equal to c by f naught. That is the formula which we are going to use. So f naught is given to us 2.5 gigahertz. C is nothing but equal to velocity of light. So therefore we can write this as lambda naught is equal to 3 into 10 power 10 centimeters. Now I am writing in terms of centimeters because I have a unit's dimensions given in terms of centimeters. Therefore I will write here in terms of centimeters. 3 into 10 power 10 centimeters into 2 by 2.5 into 10 power 9. Okay. So that is what the equation for lambda naught I will be getting. So by solving this, this is going to be one time it will go. So it's going to be 30 by 2.5. So by solving that particular thing, we will be getting lambda naught. We will be getting the value for lambda naught as 12 centimeters. So we'll be getting this as 12 centimeters. Lambda naught is equal to 12 centimeters we are going to get. Lambda naught is equal to, we normally going to get 12 centimeters. Okay. So let us lambda naught is equal to C by F naught. This I will be getting it as 12 centimeters. So after I get lambda naught, so we got lambda C, then we should find out lambda G. So simply I can simply get into lambda G now. Lambda G is equal to lambda naught by 1 minus lambda naught by lambda C whole square under root. So that formula I use. When I use that formula, what I will be getting now? I will be finding out this value when I substitute in the equation. Okay. When I substitute in the equation, I will be getting that particular value. So let us get that value now. So I have got that value as 15 centimeters. Lambda G is equal to 15 centimeters. Right. Then after I get this, the next parameters are going to be what now? Next is going to be Vp and Vg. So Vp is nothing but the phase velocity. So what is the phase velocity? It is simply C by 1 minus that particular factor. So Vp, by solving all that, I will be getting this as this numerator part. Numerator is velocity of light, denominator is going to be, we have to calculate. So that value will be getting as 0.8. 0.8, C is nothing but velocity of light. So by finding that value, we can get the value for Vp. So Vp I have got here as, by solving this, Vp I have got as 3.75 into 10 power 10. 3.75 into 10 power 10 centimeters per second. So that is what the velocity, phase velocity that I will be getting. Then I can get the group velocity from this formula. From third formula, I can find out the group velocity. That means Vg is equal to C square by Vp. This is the formula for group velocity now. So from this, I can get the value for group velocity Vg. So Vg I have got here as 2.4 into 10 power 10 centimeters per second. So this is what Vp and Vg that we will be getting here. So with this, by using these formulas, we can easily find out the values which has been asked to us. Okay. Now after this, we will move on to the second problem. So please take up another problem. A rectangular waveguide has A is equal to 4 centimeters, B is equal to 3 centimeters. A rectangular waveguide has A is equal to 4 centimeters, B is equal to 3 centimeters. Find all the TE modes which will propagate at 5 gigahertz. Find all the TE modes. Find all the TE modes which will propagate at 5 gigahertz. At 5 gigahertz. I repeat, a rectangular waveguide has A is equal to 4 centimeters, B is equal to 3 centimeters. Find all the TE modes which will propagate at 5 gigahertz. At 5 gigahertz. Okay. Now what is the condition for a wave to propagate through a waveguide? The cutoff frequency, the condition for a wave to propagate is nothing but the cutoff frequency, which should be greater than lambda naught. So it is the condition for a wave to propagate. So if at all you want a wave to propagate, we should have a condition. The condition is normally equal to, condition for a wave to propagate is nothing but equal lambda c should be greater than lambda naught. If lambda c is greater than lambda naught, then we say that a particular wave is propagating through a waveguide. So in this, first of all, we have to find out the value for lambda naught. So lambda naught value, to find out lambda naught, let us write down the given data. What is the given data? A is given to us. A is how much given? 4 centimeters, B is 3 centimeters. Now in the rectangular waveguide, always A would be greater than B. So A is 4 centimeters, B is 3 centimeters. In a rectangular waveguide, A is always greater than B, which we already know this. Now next one is, what is the frequency given? The signal frequency given is 5 gigahertz. What is the signal given? 5 gigahertz. So 5 gigahertz signal. 5 gigahertz signal is been given. So first of all, find out the value for lambda naught, which is equal to simply C by F. So C is equal to 3 into 10 power 10, because all the parameters are in centimeters, we convert this in centimeters. So F is equal to 5 into 10 power 9. 5 into 10 power 9. So which is nothing but equal to something like, here it will be 30 by 5. So 5 6 are 30. So we will be getting here lambda naught is equal to 6 centimeters. Okay. So that is the value we get for lambda naught. So we will find out lambda C value for different modes, and we will see which mode is going to exist in the waveguide. So therefore, first one, the dominant mode is always going to exist. So definitely dominant mode has to be there. So therefore, let us look into this now. TE, let us go with various modes now. TE, say 01 mode. We will calculate for TE 01 mode. What is that we calculate? We calculate what is that cutoff frequency for a TE1 mode wave. So what is the formula for cutoff frequency? We have 2AB by B square M square plus A square N square under root. So this is the formula we have. So for TE01 mode, M is 0, N is 1. So therefore, whatever you have for M, that is eliminated, it is made equal to 0. We left over with only A now. Okay, A is equal to 1, sorry, N is equal to 1. So here becomes A square under root becomes A will get cancelled. I will be getting here as lambda C, this is lambda C is equal to, I will be getting lambda C is equal to 2, A will get cancelled, 2B. Okay, what is B given? 3, B is given as 3. So I will be getting here as, it's going to be 2 into 3. A will get cancelled, 2 into 3. So that is going to be 6 centimeters. So 6 centimeters is the thing which we are going to get for the lambda C. Okay. Now what is this one now? Does lambda C is greater than lambda naught? It is equal to lambda naught. Now since lambda C is not greater than, is less than, I can just say is something like less than or equal to lambda naught, TE01 mode is not going to exist in the waveguide as per the problem given to us. Okay. Then next one is going to be TE. Let us look into TE10 mode. TE10 mode. TE10 mode. We will see whether it is going to exist or not. So lambda C is equal. TE10 means what? M is 1. N is 0. So this factor goes. So here BB will get cancelled. I will be getting 2A. So lambda C is equal to 2A for dominant mode. Okay, for a dominant mode or TE10 mode. Now, what is A? A is equal to, given as 4. So I will be getting 8 centimeters. Now here, since lambda C is greater than lambda naught, TE10 will propagate. TE10 mode is normally going to get propagate. Let us look into another mode now, TE11 mode. In TE11 mode, M and M both are existing, both are 1 1. So therefore I will be having 2A by under root of B square plus A square. Now we will substitute the values for B square, B we substitute the value for A, and we are normally going to calculate this. Once you calculate this, we will be getting lambda C value as around 4.8 centimeters. Now here lambda C is less than lambda naught. Since lambda C is less than lambda naught, okay, TE11 does not propagate. When TE11 mode itself is not getting propagated, what about other modes like TE higher order modes, TE21, TE22, okay, all these modes, these more are also normal, not going to propagate. Let us look into TE20. TE20. What about TE20? M is equal to 2. As M is equal to 2, it's going to be 4. Now definitely it is also going to be less than we'll be getting. That means all higher order modes are not going to exist. Only TE10 mode is going to exist in the waveguide. So the conclusion is that in this problem, TE10 mode is going to propagate through the waveguide. Now we'll go with another problem. Please take down this problem now. A rectangular waveguide with dimensions. A rectangular waveguide with dimension of 3 by 2. What is given as the rectangular waveguide with a dimension of 3 by 2 centimeters. With dimension 3 by 2 centimeters operates in the TM11 mode. Operates in TM11 mode at 10 gigahertz frequencies. At 10 gigahertz frequency. Determine the characteristic wave impedance. Determine the characteristic wave impedance. ZTM you have to find out. So the formula for ZTM is equal to what now? It is going to be eta times under root of 1 minus lambda naught by lambda c whole square. So simply you have to find out the parameters whatever given here. Now what is E now? E is an intrinsic impedance. E is an intrinsic impedance. So which is equal to, already we discussed this, eta is equal to mu naught by epsilon naught under root. We discussed about this, which we have got this value as around 120 pi or 377, or I can just call this as 377 ohms. Okay, so this is what intrinsic impedance which we have got. So we substitute here for that. The next is lambda naught. What is lambda naught? C by F. So what is C? 3 into 10 power 10 centimeters by F. What is F given? 10 into 10 power 9. Okay, so I'll be getting here as around 3 centimeters as lambda naught. So the next one is going to be lambda C. What is lambda C? Cutoff wavelength. Cutoff wavelength. What is the formula for cutoff wavelength? Just now we discussed cutoff wavelength. Lambda C is equal to 2 into A into B. Now which one has to be taken A? Which one has to be taken B? Because what is given to us? A rectangular waveguide. In a rectangular waveguide, always A is greater than B. Always A is greater than B. In a rectangular waveguide, always A is greater than B. Therefore, whichever is the highest, we will take as A. The next one is going to be B. So therefore, here A is equal to 3, B is equal to 2. So therefore, I can write this as 2 into AB under root of B square plus A square for TM11 mode. For TM11 mode. So therefore, 2 into 3 into 2 by under root of what we can get? B square, that is 3 square plus 2 square. So when you calculate that value, you will be getting this as 3.328 centimeters. So that is the value for cutoff wavelength, which is equal to lambda C. Now we have got the value for lambda naught, we have got the value for the lambda C for TM11 mode. Now we will simply substitute all these values for the characteristic impedance. So ZTM is equal to what we can go to have now? It is 120 pi, okay, under root of this factor, whatever factor I am having here, 1 minus lambda naught. What is the lambda naught I have got? 3 by 3.328 whole square under root. So that is the value that we are normally going to have. Now once you compute that value, what you are going to get now? So around 61.6 we are going to get, approximately 61.6 ohms you are going to get. So that is what the characteristic impedance of the waveguide. Okay, so with this we will end up the class, today's class here only, and for the next session we are going to continue with unit number 3. We discuss about the microwave circuits. So once we discuss about microwave circuits, we will be ready to understand the cavity resonators, because cavity resonators is a part of the microwave circuit. Okay, so thank you very much for today's session.